Ooh. Wow, that's not enjoyable. Hey church family, my name's Jamie. I'm here with a good friend of mine, Pastor Colin, who's our campus pastor at our Bonnie Doon Campus, and we're celebrating the 1-year anniversary of the launch of Bonnie Doon, and we're doing it foodie style. Because Colin, you love food, I love food, chicken wings are my favorite. If you've seen this setup before, it's a shameless ripoff of a very famous YouTube show where we're just going to have a conversation as we progressively eat chicken wings that just get hotter and hotter. And this side of the board is already starting to freak me out a little bit. The last year you've been the campus pastor at Bonnie Doon, but for a good portion of time you were the worship pastor at our broadcast location at West Campus. How many services do you think you led over those years?
It's got to be at least 1,000.
For sure.
If not more.
For sure. Any favorite moments that stick out?
Oh man, probably a lot of embarrassing ones more than anything. Mistakes made, and it's just always just great memories to have with the team, and you realize God still works in spite of some of the mistakes that we make at times.
So true. So I just have some questions to ask you to help us sort of celebrate what's been happening at Bonnie Doon, but I also want to dig in. So the first one here is really easy. This is just salt and pepper. There's nothing added to it, so I figured we can kind of open up nice and easy. Let's dig in. See? Tasty. Yeah. So, before you were campus pastor, and before you knew you'd be leading that campus, what was the journey like for you? Like, how did Jesus move in your life and heart that chose you, or sort of led you to move from the worship pastor position and into a campus pastor position?
You know, I think, and I felt that God was really challenging my routines and my comforts. We had spent a lot of years together. I think we worked together for 6 years.
That's right.
It was a great setup where I got to lead worship every weekend. You had to deal with the complaints about how loud the drums were. But, you know, it was really, really good. And I find that in my life, every time I get to this place where it's like everything is just really good, that's when God comes in and says, all right, it's time to move you to something different. And I think God does that in our lives, right? Like he's always wanting to challenge what's routine and comfortable for us to bring us to where he wants us to be. It was one conversation about that with Pastor Miner at the time, and one thing led to another, some interviews, and then a year later, here we are.
All right, you ready to move on?
What kind of pepper did you use? That was already a little spicy.
That is just ground pepper.
All right.
So we're moving up a little bit. This one here is, they call it pineapple habanero. So let's dig into this one and see what that's like.
That one tastes really good.
Yeah, it's fruity. Okay. It's got something there.
We're starting to build a little bit. It's not too bad.
Tell us about, I mean, you launched Bonnie Doon last summer. There were some sort of soft launch services that people could be a part of, prayer services that people could be a part of. And then you launched right away in the fall. Tell us, what's Bonnie Doon like? What's the campus like?
One of the ways I love to describe Bonnie Doon is that it's Beulah, but it's a little bit different. And just the way that the building feels, the way that the church feels as a smaller environment. And, you know, like when we have services on weekends, we let all the natural light in. We don't have a lot of production going. We usually have smaller teams that are kind of more that acoustic feel, and you know, it's been really cool to have that type of environment that you know, for us in Bonnie Doon, like we love and we continue to cheer on everything that happens at West and Southwest. We're also excited for this opportunity to create something different that will complement what already exists for Beulah. As a smaller church, we take advantage of every opportunity that we can to build strong community and relationship with one another. So we brought back the old school church potluck. It's kind of a joke for us in Bonnie Doon. There's always food involved with everything, which...
well, if you're leading, that's always the case.
Yeah. So we've loved having those moments of church potluck together, and just every opportunity we can to give people a chance to get to know one another better, and really trusting and believing that as that happens, people love one another better. And we know that, you know, Scripture tells us that the world knows that we're Christ's disciples by the way we love one another. Yeah. We have a couple Beulah communities that are going, and communities that live out all four of our practices: gather, grow, give, and go. And over the next few weeks, we're hoping to launch another 2 communities. So, community is such an important part of what we do, and each of those communities will have opportunities to serve the community in a different way, and to go and not just stay where we're comfortable.
I love that, and I love that the thing that makes Beulah isn't the size and it isn't the location, but it's our values and our practices. And I know when I've come to visit a service at Bonnie Doon, one of the things that's just so evident, it's incredibly welcoming. And there's something, that's similar with all church services. There's a sung worship, there's announcements, there's offering, there's a teach, and often you're receiving the video teach from our broadcast location. But there's something unique that happens, I think, at Bonnie Doon after the service. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, we do kind of like snack time after every service, and again, just an opportunity for people to stay behind, to not just feel like they're coming to attend a service and leaving right afterwards. Again, always food, but beyond that, it's just the opportunity that people have to continue in relationship with one another, to get to know one another better. So that's something that we do and we enjoy having every Sunday.
Awesome. All right, you ready to move on? I thought the first one was going to be easier than it was. It wasn't too spicy, but I thought it was going to be easier.
I'm starting to sweat just
just a little bit? Okay. So this is, they call this ginger goat.
Ginger goat.
I don't know what
is it made with real goat?
No, let's hope not.
This one feels a little less spicy.
A little easier than that one. Mm-hmm.
Might be because my mouth can't feel very much right now, but.
Yeah, the whole time you were talking, I was just paying attention. Okay, it's building a little bit.
Oh, now it's hot. There we go.
It builds a little bit. One of the other things. Oh yeah, water doesn't make it better. So over the last year, how have you seen Jesus awaken others in the Bonnie Doon area?
Mm-hmm. Sorry.
I'm aware that not only is my mouth watering, I don't want snot on camera.
Like I was mentioning before, like our Beulah communities have the opportunity to engage and to partner with different organizations close to Bonnie Doon. And one of our groups has been serving with a supportive housing complex called Hope Terrace. And it's just been really cool to see that happen, and just how excited people get for those opportunities every time we go there to just hang out with some of the residents there. And the very first time we went there, only one resident came and stayed to chat with us, and just kept going back, believing that God has put us in that neighborhood with the supportive housing just down the street from the church, that we were there for a reason. And the next one, 3 residents came, and the one after that more came, and the one after that more came. And the last event that we had there, we threw a barbecue for them, and we had almost, I think, more than 20 of the residents come and stay and hang out. And it's an opportunity for us to talk to them and to show them that, as a church, we're there to love them. We're there to care about them. And there's a hope that's inside of us that we want them to see and we want them to know as well. One of our other groups has been active with Chinatown cleanup. There's a group that's trying to revitalize Chinatown. And it's been cool to see one of our groups have a part in, even once a month going to help pick up garbage. But that we're not a church that is just there expecting people to always come to us, but a church that is active in participating in things in the community as well.
I love that. And even while we're filming this, we're right kind of in the middle of a series called Leave the Light On, like the radically ordinary idea of loving your neighbor. And that's exactly what you guys are doing. Mm-hmm. Absolutely love that. All right. Now this next one, I'm kind of excited about, because this is actually one that I brought back when I was in the Caribbean. And they call it Fuego. I think the name speaks for itself.
Can I burp?
Oh, I think that'll be okay.
Okay.
Here we go. I think this one's going to be a little easier than the last ones. I thought those ones were going to be a little kinder to us. Your campus, along with the Phare de Luz campus, meet in the same building. Mm-hmm. What's that experience been like, having 2 campuses occupy the same space?
It's give me a sec.
I just want to ask the question quickly so I can get to my water.
Oh, it's been awesome. Like the people at Fair to Lose are just like awesome people. Always, every weekend, every Sunday when we're walking into the building, they're finishing their last service, and just you're walking through just like a crowd of people, and every single person is like, "Oh, how are you? We're praying for you. We're praying for you. Have a great service tonight." And it's really felt like a partnership with them rather than us just using space there. And we've felt so much support from them, and from Pastor Gabby and Pastor Jorge, who's there now. And yeah, it's been great, in them trying to do everything they can to make this a space for us and a home for us as well.
I love that. It shows the picture. I mean, we use the phrase a lot, church family, but it's not just a turn of phrase for us. It's something that we actually believe in, that we are actually a family together, and that's just a wonderful display of all that. And part of me right now is just trying to stall because I don't want to go to the next one.
I thought this sauce was going to make me start speaking in Spanish. Next one will start making you speak in tongues.
Yeah, it's going to do something. Now, if you've ever watched the show that this is sort of based off of, they often, there's a challenge of putting a little extra dab when you get to some of the crazy ones. I don't feel crazy enough to do that with this one that's coming, but do you want to do that with this one with me?
Let's go for it.
Okay. They say shake well.
What's this one called?
This one is called Stargazer. I don't know what that means, but it says 9 out of 10 ultra hot. Now it's some serious business.
All right, let's do this.
Here we go.
Wait, sauce on the tongue, right?
Sauce on the tongue, I think.
All right, here we go.
Oh, geez.
That's quite unpleasant.
When you first have it, it's okay. But then you wait for it to hit later. What would you say your spice tolerance is usually?
It's usually pretty good.
Yeah?
This is making me want to quit my job, though.
Woo! It hits you in the back of the throat a little bit.
Yep.
Can I interest you in some of this?
Oh, sure. Water definitely makes it worse, but I'm going to drink it anyways. Do you have a lactose pill?
No. Oh, yeah. This is double whammy for you. As you think about being a campus pastor, specifically in the Bonnie Doon area in Edmonton, living in a post-pandemic world, what's your desire, hope, and prayer for Bonnie Doon?
One of the verses that really stuck out to me before we launched the campus.
I'm trying to concentrate on you.
There's a passage in Acts 2. At the end of Acts 2, it talks about the fellowship of believers. And, it's this kind of, this benchmark of what the church is supposed to be. At the very end of that passage, it says, and the Lord added to the number daily those that were being saved. Ultimately my dream is, sorry as I want some snot from my nose, but ultimately the dream is simply, and I don't know if this sounds cliche, but that Christ would be the one that builds his church. There's another verse in 1 Corinthians that I've had on the desktop of my iPad for a really long time, the home screen of my iPad for a really long time. And it's a verse that says, it doesn't really matter who does the planting, who does the watering. What matters more is that God is the one that brings growth. So as a church, our desire is to not get in the way of what God's doing, and that this wouldn't be a man-made thing, that we would build a church just for the sake of having a church that we built ourselves, but that we'd be faithful to what God wants to do and what he wants to build.
I love that. Well, that dab challenge was so fun. I feel like we should do that with this one too. Oh dear. Okay. Oh. It says on the bottle, use 1 drop at a time with extreme caution.
Whoa, that's a big drop.
So we made it this far. We've been through a lot of stuff together. So this can't be the most difficult thing we've ever done.
Cheers.
Cheers. Here.
Wait, sauce on tongue? Are you doing that again?
Oh yeah.
See, that doesn't even taste good.
No.
That is just
pure
pain. Ooh.
If I think about what drinking battery acid would be like, probably be like that. What are we doing? Sorry.
We're regretting our life decisions right now.
It's a piece of cake. All I gotta do is just pretend like it doesn't exist.
Wow. Wow. What's in this?
I don't know.
Keep out of reach of children.
Oh, I can't even think of something to say. If somebody was gonna visit Bonnie Doon Campus for a weekend, what would you be inviting them to and participating in? And take as long as you need to answer.
Was something that's a call that we didn't make a year ago, and just kind of figuring out where God was going to place us as He was starting this campus. But it's a call that I think is a good one to make now. That we want to invite people from our other campuses to come and be part of what God is doing in Bonnie Doon. As I was saying when we were first starting into something that a moment in time that feels a lot more pleasant than what we're in right now. But I think God's always challenging our routines and our comfort. And there's an opportunity as a church right now.
My comfort's being challenged.
But there's an opportunity for us, not just for those that are already in Bonnie Doon, but for us as Beulah Alliance Church, that God has given us this opportunity to start this campus. And honestly, we've got so many great people, but we'd love to see more people from other campuses come and be part of what God's doing there. It's not just something for, if you're a young adult or for a certain demographic. It's not just for people that live in Bonnie Doon or close to Bonnie Doon. It's really for us as a church to embrace this calling that God's given us, this mission that God has given to us, that we would see people in Bonnie Doon, the neighborhoods surrounding it, awaken to King Jesus. So there are so many opportunities that are there, and just really knowing, believing that God is stirring something up with different people at all of our campuses to want to come on mission with Him, to come and be a part of what He's building in Bonnie Doon.
I love that. It tells us how we can be praying for the campus. How can we be praying?
That was a heart.
You focused pretty good through that. That gives us an insight how to be praying for Bonnie Doon. How can we be praying for you and Jasmine and the girls?
We'll pray that I don't die after this.
Right?
But, what'd be really fun is if you took a dab of this every time before you preached a sermon, and
we should have a little hot sauce, dip for communion wafers.
Oh yeah.
I feel good.
Yeah. Something that you could be praying for is just opportunities. Beulah, I love how generous people at Beulah are, and just the resources that we have to find different ways and different opportunities to reach that community. And just throughout this next year, just more and more opportunity to meet different people, that we'd be able to have great conversations with them, that people would know that as a church, sorry, more snot on my nose, that as a church, that it's a place that is incredibly welcoming, that it's not this like club that you have to be in total agreement with everything in order to be there and to belong there, but that it's a place where people feel loved, people feel welcomed, and that there be just a freedom for people to ask questions that they may have, and for us to have healthy conversations with one another as we continue to point people towards Jesus.
I love that. And I hope that you'll join us in just celebrating what's happening at Bonnie Doon. We can follow you on Instagram, both personally, but also Bonnie Doon has an Instagram account where you can see kind of what's happening there, and we can be praying for you, maybe coming for a visit. Thanks for sitting down, having this conversation. I'm going to go die.
Me too.
All right. Thanks, everybody.